Hello, welcome to Extreme Gaming Podcast. This is episode 254, November 14th, when we're recording this. When we do this live thing on Riverside, I have to each individual person I have to click on, so it looks a little weird. But glad you could join us again. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'd like to introduce everybody. You know me already, Greg Gamer 25, and my compadres. Go.
Hello, it's Trev here, and also see we have a AMD fanboy joining us today by the looks of it.
And I'm Matt, also known as Irish Guardian.
Looking good, Matt. That was it?
That was it. Sure, this time.
You usually follow it with some kind of a whatever, and I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
And Tarl, go ahead, speak up.
Hi guys, I'm Tarl. I'm from Gamertech. Thank you so much for having me on.
Sure.
Thank you, mate.
We let Tarl talk a little bit about what he does, but basically he's a PC builder, and he found out about us through, like everybody else, like heard the podcast and got in touch with us and wanted to be on and participate. And we said, sure, man, come on the podcast and do whatever you want. So maybe what we should do real quickly is go ahead and just tell them briefly what Gamertech is about a little bit, and then we'll ask you some questions a little later.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So, Gamertech is a custom PC building company. Gamertech.org is our website where you can buy yourself a pre-made PC that's sitting on the shelf ready to be delivered tomorrow, or you can build your own using our custom PC builder.
Sounds great.
That's what we do.
Very good. We'll get into some more of that in a bit. Quick getting I can talk. The rest of the paperwork out of the way. Our Discord, please join if you want. We've had a few people joining off of listening to the podcast. We do go live on several different areas like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Stream Podcast. X, as well as a couple other things.
OnlyFans is coming in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, only gamer fans, we're going to call it. Discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. Of course, that's all one word. Discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. Join us there. We talk about games. We talk about hardware. We talk about entertainment. We talk about science fiction. We talk about whatever the hell comes to mind. So pick up on us if you want. And if you ever want us to ask any questions of us, be it games or PC hardware or what color the sky is, just go ahead and send it in to us via either the email, which is extremegamingpodcast@gmail.com, or join the Discord and ask it there. And we'll put your question up on our next podcast. So we're going to get into a little bit, since Charles is our special guest. We figured we would probably ask him a couple questions just to kind of feel him out a little bit on his opinion and things and what he's done with gamertech.org. So since Matt was kind enough to come up with all the questions we're going to ask, which saved me a lot of time. Matt, why don't you ask the first question of Tarl?
Sure. Welcome, Tarl. Yeah, sure.
Thanks,
what has inspired you to start gamertech.org?
Well, do you watch the YouTube channel Gamers Nexus? I imagine at least some of you do. So there was a while back now, a couple of years, a few years even, they did a piece on Artesian Builds, which was a custom PC company that actually just went bust. They went out of business. And I was watching the video and I just kind of kept thinking to myself, I think I could do this. And the more I watched it, the more I was kind of thinking, and, I've got like 20 years of IT experience and behind me. So I just thought, yeah, you know what? I think this is something I could do. And that was kind of where it came from. And then I just, started talking about it, thinking about it, and, talking to some friends and bringing them on board as well. And yeah, that's it. It's it was an interesting video, if you remember it.
Was it more of a labor of love kind of thing that started it all?
For me, well, I've wanted to do something for myself for a while. I got a bit sick of the whole, corporate ladder, and I was doing quite well in corporate world, and it was fine, But I was getting quite disillusioned with the way things worked in the corporate world. And then, that video happened to come along at the kind of time where I was kind of, just thinking things out, figuring out what I wanted to do. And that just kind of inspired me at exactly the right time.
That's good.
That's fantastic.
Trev, you want to ask a question?
Well, not any of the questions Matt's got down there. I'll leave them for Matt, but I have a lot of respect for guys like you that do what they do, because often they can do a better job than a lot of the big hitters, because they are rinse and repeat a lot of the time, the big guys. And then if you've got the niche guys that are still bigger, they will go and make something that is just so out there that you can't really dream to afford something like that.
Sure.
And they are very niche, and quite a few of them will be in the States as well. So having someone UK based is really cool, actually, like really useful for Matt and I, because I'm in Edinburgh and Matt's in London, so that suits us nicely. What level do you? I don't think I'm stealing this from Matt here. What kind of lengths and degrees do you go to in PC building? Like, we used to have members of our team years ago that was their shtick back in the day. We moved more into gaming now. Not to say that we don't build PCs, but we don't really talk about it as much. They would do custom builds and do everything from unique piping work to different materials on the case and whatnot. How far do you go? What's your thing?
We go pretty far. So at the moment, one of the PCs I built last Christmas was a wall-mounted chassis with fully custom hard-lined water-cooled, that was a good experience, because that was the first time that I'd done that. But I'm bringing on more skills as much as I can. The next big challenge is I want to do copper pipes in a build.
Oh.
But that's a really big step up, because you're kind of getting into engineering there, and that's not really my bag, but I still want to do it.
Squeaky bum time, man. That's
yeah.
If you F up, it's usually a lot more painful and costly when that happens.
Yeah, well, I won't be doing it for the first time for a customer, but and once I've got it all ironed out and I know how to do it, then it will be kind of put out as something we'll do. But it's going to be a bit of a learning curve on that one, I think.
Okay, man. Listen, Matt, go for it. You've got some other things in the docket.
Yeah, so here's a really good one for everybody out there that's always looking into building their own machine. What advice would you give somebody who's looking to build their own custom PC?
I would.
It's a harsh one.
It's also a really big question, because you can answer it in so many ways. But I would just kind of think of what your use case is, what you're using it for. And I think if you're a gamer, which is our primary audience, if you're a gamer, you probably want to spend at least half of your budget on the GPU, on the graphics card. That's a pretty good kind of rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you can spend more, great. The more frames you get, the more money you put into the PC, the more frames you get out of it and the more quality you get out of it. If you're buying for work purposes, I think you kind of got to look at what your workflow is, right? So, for instance, if you're using any Adobe products, then Intel and NVIDIA is the way to go, because they have so much more of a better ecosystem suited to work with those workflows. But if you're using, for instance, if you're editing in RAW or Intraframe or long GOP, or we've got PCs that are designed purely for those specific use cases on our site. So if you know that you're using RAW, then you can go and look at a PC that is built specifically for that. So that's my advice. Just kind of think about what the use case is a bit before you pull the trigger and spend a lot of money.
Wanted to say a quick hi before I forgot. We have a few different people joining us on Twitch as well as YouTube Live. So hi out there. Glad you could join us. Matt, you want me to ask another question? Or you want me to steal one of your questions?
Go on, steal it. Go for it.
You must have been asked this a million times, Tarl, but what sets, gamertech.org apart from like other PC builders, in your opinion?
It's Tarl, clearly. It's obviously Tarl.
Yeah, right. I'd like to say that, but no, that's definitely not it. There's a few of us that are doing this, and we all bring our different expertise. But I would say the big ones are so we stream our PC builds live on YouTube. So that's pretty cool because it's nice to see your PC being built. You can, we'll talk to you. We'll if someone wants to say, well, can you make it look like this, make it look like that, then we'll try and accommodate the customer as much as possible. I kind of like that. We've had a lot of our recent customers have been for PCs for kids that are getting their first ever gaming PC, which is just like super cool for me. Someone new getting into gaming.
Fortnite and Roblox.
Wicked. Yeah, Fortnite and Roblox for sure. That's exactly it. Yeah. But it's just great for them because they can just get a bit more knowledge about what it is that they're using on a day-to-day basis. So that's really cool. Our whole thing is affordable gaming, so that's kind of like our company motto, affordable gaming. So we do as much as we can to stay as lean as possible, so that we can give the best pricing possible, the most value. So we're not looking to profiteer too much from this. Sure, we want to be comfortable and be able to pay the mortgage, but at the same time we want to give something back to the community. So everything is as affordable as possible. What else? We've got almost 2,000 components in our PC builder, so I think that's by far the widest choice that you'll find on any custom PC builder website. Most of them are consolidating, which I get, but we're going the opposite direction. It's going to mean it's quite complex, but in terms of our kind of efficiencies, but we want to be able to offer a really wide range of products.
That sounds ambitious, but you're pulling it off, so that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this now? The company itself, a couple of years
over
or more.
Just over a year.
Okay.
It's it's been slow going. It's not easy starting a new company, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But all the graphs are going up, which is good. There's more customers every week. There's more visitors to the website every day. So it's going in the right direction.
Excellent. Do you want me to break up and ask the next one, Mr. Matt?
Go ahead.
The last one for you, mate. The cracking questions from Matt, by the way, to be fair. So, Carl, what Tari, not Carl, that's the guy from The Walking Dead.
Oh no!
Don't worry, I get that a lot.
And he died. Sorry, spoiler alert. It was not good. What trends are you actually seeing in the custom PC building industry? And certainly, I don't know if Matt was coming from the angle I'm thinking it was, but I'm thinking from the folk that we've known back in the early days of Extreme Gaming Podcast. They built things in a certain kind of way, but because we don't go into the minutiae of building our own machines just now, although Matt and I can't, Gray can't. He'll pretend he can build his own machine. He can't. He gets someone else to do it for him. What are you seeing these days? What is the cool thing? Like, see, for the kids, you go into a barber's, skin fade is all the craze. What's the craze in PC building, custom PC building today?
Well, I think what I saw a lot when I was kind of starting to figure out what I wanted the company to look at, looking at all the competitors, is that everybody is consolidating. So, a lot of the companies now, they have less parts to offer because it's more efficient, it's easier. That means, the least amount of the less cases they have, the less amount of different size boxes they need to buy to put them in. So it's all about everyone seems to be kind of consolidating down and just having a good kind of reliable option, which is fine. Right. Also using kind of in-house parts, so cases that were built kind of OEM for them by maybe small manufacturers, so that, again, they've got control over the whole supply chain and things like that. But we just didn't want to go in that direction, really. We just, as I was saying earlier, we've got nearly 2,000 parts, and quite frankly, it's going to be a bit of a headache at some point where we're having to manage all of those different things. But we really wanted to be able to give people choice. I feel that the more choice, the more better, right?
I agree with that. Absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Matt,
right.
Your last question's a really good, interesting one.
Yeah. So, have you got any fun stories or memorable moments that stand out in your journey with Gamertech?
Yeah, like breaking a CPU or standing on a really expensive component, or
You know what? This is going to sound super sad, but I don't think there is. It's just been a lot of hard work, no, I don't have any really fun or cool stories. I don't think, because
you didn't have a water cooler bust on you and short out your whole computer.
Not recently, no. I mean, that's happened a few times in my personal life, but not recently while I've been doing it for the business. It's just been a lot of hard work, honestly. Something I keep saying to anyone that asks is that, I have a to-do list of 5 things, and then I check off those 5 things, and I realize that there's another 10 things on the to-do list. It's just never ending. The fun has been. There's not been a lot of fun just yet. I guess is what I'm saying. It's just it's more hard work than. Hopefully the fun will come. Yeah, I really hope so.
Yeah. Gray also has a to-do list as well, but he forgets to bloody check it. So that's why I had to update the title of the episode manually. But we don't know what it is in Facebook. We don't know what it is in Facebook, so we can't change it there. So
I do everything else, but I keep forgetting the damn names.
Can we change that question then, Tara? I've got something better to ask you then, to be fair. If you can't, well, not better, because it's a good question. You just couldn't think of anything. What are you most proudest? What's your proudest moment or situation with the company since you started? Is there any one element that jumps out and you think, yeah, I'm chuffed with that one?
We had one customer, our only business customer, that kind of came to us and said, "Hey, we're local, and do you want to come and have a chat to us and see what you can do for us?" I think they were using so this is a kind of like a LAN gaming center, and just went to go have a chat, and things worked out all right. And we've been supplying them with PCs for the last 8 or 9 months now, and they're our biggest customer by far. They're our only business customer, really. So that's been really great, and that just kind of, I don't know if I can say I'm proud of that, because they basically just came to us. It was just kind of luck. But that's the thing that I think has kind of kept the lights on, shall we say? Because, as I said, starting a new business is tough. So it's been a real, kind of heaven sent kind of thing that they just landed on our lap. So that's the thing that I'm most thankful for, at least.
Good. I was checking out your website beforehand, as any good researcher or podcaster should do, and just to say, guys, their website is cracking. By the way, it's an absolute banger of a website. They've done such a good job, and it literally is just gamertech.org, right? .org. If you go there and have a look, very shiny, very pretty, very easy to use. And I did notice that you've got the reviewers in Trustpilot, which is very good, because that's who I work for.
Is it?
So,
no way.
Yeah. Hey, any website worth their salt has to be on that, because it's definitely worth it. Because anyway, I don't want to plug my company.
That's what weird. I said to my colleagues. Yeah.
They go to a lot of effort of trying to make things impartial, whereas you could probably pay for a review on Google or Amazon or something. So, but yeah, I would recommend people go there and actually check it out, especially if you're in the UK. How far afield will you ship, or will you say, "Listen, I'll ship anywhere, but outside of the UK, it's on you to sort all the customs and tax shit out"?
At the moment, we're just UK. So we don't want to get into the whole, exporting thing just yet while we're in our infancy. If that feels like a lot to a lot to bite off. We're doing UK, but we do deliver to all of the islands, Channel Islands, Scottish Highlands and such things as well. So everywhere in the UK. Everywhere else,
cool.
Hopefully, will come later.
If we were still part of the EU, that wouldn't be a bloody problem. But
yeah, right.
They voted to leave.
Don't get me started on that.
Well,
the
that would have been so much easier.
The good thing is, at least you're not biting off more than you can chew. So,
at least you don't. At least we don't have Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks.
So
for that.
We all have crap. So what can I tell you?
He might come over.
That's why we never talk politics or religion.
Hey, but you know what they say? We're always 5 years behind the US, right? So maybe we'll have Trump in 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh God,
that's a scary thought. Huh?
He
always comes
old,
by that time. I mean,
he always comes to the golf. He comes to the golf courses up in north of Scotland. Mm-hmm. He owns them there, so we're just like, go away, man, please. No one wants you. Like, go away.
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
Moving on. Anything else you boys want to ask Taro about the business side of things? Or Taro, is there anything you want to mention or plug just now? You'll get another chance at the end, of course, if you want to. Like your socials, anything like that, or? Oh,
sure. Okay, yeah. So all of our socials are gamertech.org, kind of spelt DOTORG, gamertech DOTORG. And, check out the YouTube as well, where we do all sorts of, builds for customers. We've just started doing a new series of videos called Micro Tips, where we're basically just telling people how to do things. The latest one was how to install your CPU, and, it's just 2 or 3 minutes.
Fantastic.
That is genius. Matt has also got a micro tip, don't you? No, that is genius. To be fair, Taro.
And it's wireless.
I got a maxi one, but that's another story.
That is a really, really, in all seriousness, that's a great thing you're doing with the YouTube, because having your business is one thing, but then I wouldn't call it a side hustle or side gig because it's part of your business, but another element where you're then educating people at the same time and trying to get your name and brand out there more. It's genius, really. And like, I don't want to say too much at the moment, but Gray and I have been discussing like other things we can do in terms of websites and all that other stuff too. You want to just push the brand out there, push the name out there. It's about awareness. That's the hardest battle, I find, in any kind of passion, trying to move it up. And you've probably found that as well, I would imagine, Tar.
For sure, yeah. And obviously building the brand was a big part of that. But also, like I said earlier, we want to give back to the community. So, this is all kind of stuff that we're doing just to help people, really. We'd rather that you bought a PC from us. But if you're not into that, then, go watch our videos where hopefully it will help you build your own one.
Excellent, man. What a guy. Yeah. What a guy. Any of you boys got anything else left to mention about that? No?
I'm sure there'll be other things that'll come up, but for now, I think what we'll do is we'll move on with some hardware news. We mentioned this once before in an earlier podcast, but now there's more news, and Trev's going to take it away and talk about AMD.
Yeah, and Taro and whoever else can jump in as well and have this discussion. So, before I mention this article, right, because it's linked to what I'm going to say, micro tips. Right, so nobody can see this live, right? It's only for us on here just now. We have our names, right, on the lower thirds. Is that right? Is that the technical term for it?
We tend to change it every so often.
It shows live. So it shows in the lights, and we change what we have under our names. I usually put something immature and like that's who I am. But before we get into the AMD thing, I, for the longest time, was... Oh, yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. I was making fun of Carl jokingly for being an AMD fanboy just by the title that he's got. But then I guess I was an Intel fanboy for the longest time. And maybe rightly so, because for the longest time, they had the best, fastest, meanest CPU for gaming, what other things as well, but particularly gaming. And that's what I was interested in mostly. And I always had it in my head that CPUs, when it came to gaming, having many cores can be beneficial, especially in this modern day and age. But gaming, specifically, having 1 or 2 cores that could run really high, it no matter how much cooling or heat it gives off, whatever, is always beneficial for gaming. And that is, in my opinion, still true to this day. However, despite Intel having the biggest, baddest chips until recently, like they were running comfortably with good cooling over 6 gig each core, they have started kind of imploding. for multiple reasons, and we don't need to get into the reasons for that. Like we discussed that in the past. People that watch and listen to this podcast know about it. If you're involved in the PC gaming industry, even as an interest, you know about it, so we won't go over that again. But they brought out the recent chip, and it was just like a rinse and repeat job. They were just trying to make it more efficient, less energy, less heat, but they weren't trying to up their gain. Now, AMD for the last couple of years at least now have been running away with the best gaming CPU, and that is evident again with their latest chips. They've got their 9800 X3D out. Now, for the last couple of years, they've been trying this new thing with 3D cache. And for those that don't know what cache is, the simplest way of explaining it is the best way to store short-term quick instructions into immediate memory for the CPU to access it, so it doesn't go gallivanting around looking for it. It's right there for it to call upon. And cache was always really, really small and further away from the processor. So they brought it in. And Tara will be able to jump in a moment and change or correct anything I've said there. Give you a lot more cache at different levels, and also build it on the chip in such a unique way that it's immediately accessible. So despite not having the highest clocks, and they still don't have the highest clocks, they've managed to overtake Intel in the gaming CPU department because of this 3D cache being so bloody good at not using as much energy and as much juice. It's more efficient. And then you're getting faster games because the games are be able to run faster. The instructions are be able to recall a lot quicker than what you had before. So this is the second year in a row, at least they're running away with it. And I've got a dilemma next year when I rebuild my PC, because I've got an NVIDIA 4080 Super, which I'm happy with. Although, of course, I probably want a 5000 series card when it comes out. But CPU-wise, I'm on an older chip because I'm on still an i9 9900K, which is still a cracking chip. I mean, I've got all the cores overclocked to like 5.2, 5.3 gig, but I want something better. I can't do that at the moment because I'd have to replace the motherboard, because Intel are always changing bloody specifications for the CPUs. AMD do not do that as much. I'd have to change the power supply to, I mean, they're hot chips, the Intel chips, the case, everything, and that's just too much extra expense. So when I do go to next year, am I going to go the newest Intel after this one? Am I going to go AMD? And I might have to go AMD. So, Tar, what is your opinion on the whole AMD Intel thing? And I take it you are AMD at the moment. Have you got this chip? Would you buy this chip?
So I think from a professional standpoint, I should probably say, we're completely, product. We have no bias. But
of course not.
Quite frankly, Intel and AMD don't know who the hell I am yet. So here's my opinion. If you buy Intel at the moment, I think it's the wrong decision. I really do. AMD are light years ahead, especially for gaming. There are still some applications that are really good for Intel. Like I said earlier, the Adobe suite is one of them. But yeah, if you're gaming, pretty much AMD and the X3D chips are just out of this world good, ridiculously good.
Yeah. Have you got it? Have you got that chip, or have you got of last year's chip?
I'm a more of a productivity person these days. So the last PC I bought, I went with a AMD 7950X, which is just all about cores and IPC. But if I was going to build a pure gaming rig, it would absolutely have an X3D chip in it, no doubt.
See, that's interesting you say that, because the thing that, like, when Intel were still top for CPUs for gaming performance, AMD still had the bonus of, listen, if you don't game, but if you do productivity things, like their chips are really good at that, especially their thread rippers. If you were, Billy Big Balls rich and just went out and got one of those guys and could cool the beast, they were always good for multitasking and productivity. And Intel were for the gaming side. But now, for the most part, Intel have lost that. So AMD still have the multitasking kind of crown on their head, and now they've got the gaming crown on their head. It's not looking good for Intel at the moment. I kind of want to see them coming back, because the thing is, and I'd imagine you'll be the same as me, Taro, if not more so, you want competition is good for business.
Definitely.
Especially your business. You want to be giving impartial advice out to people. You want to give them the best item for their needs. And I remember years ago working for Carphone Warehouse, like guys that sell mobile phones in the UK. Like, I don't even know if they're still a thing, but I would tell people, I would ask them what they need in a machine. Like, a part of me would want to give everyone the best. Like, take that, shiny, it's cool. And the guy's 70 years old and could barely see. Like, why is he wanting to, like, I'm not talking about Grey here. I'm not talking about Grey. I'm talking about just Joe Blogs here.
Thank you.
So, like, you got to get the right product, the right item to the person's needs there. So if you've got two big competitors against one another, and we might have a third coming up soon, which Gray will talk about, then that's good for business, I guess. So you would want Intel to come back and battle with them in some shape or form?
Yeah, I think the market's never good when you've got one company that's just completely crushing everything, right? And in CPUs, that's what AMD are doing at the moment, because they're not only crushing it in gaming for consumers, but you talked about Threadripper. Like, Intel literally left that market. They don't do high performance computing anymore. They haven't done high performance computing since for about
this is why they
5
lost
years.
$16 billion in a quarter.
Yeah.
In a quarter.
And then you look in the data center, the Epic is just all over Intel. Like, Intel are nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And in fact, they are beating them in practically every single market segment. I think the only place where Intel is good on a kind of general sense is just really, really, really low end. So like your 100, your 10 to 14 100 chips that are just like 80 quid, because AMD they can't be bothered to compete in that market. It's just not profitable enough for them.
Yeah, you want Intel to come back, because what AMD will do, and this stands the test of time. It's just business 101. Given enough time, they will put the prices up more, because they can. They've no look at Nvidia. Literally, if you want a 5090 when it comes out, prepare to sell a kidney and a testicle or an ovary. Like, we'll get female gamers out there as well. If you want to buy one of these things, they cost so much money. So we do need them to come back and provide better competition. For now, AMD is still reasonably priced. They are competing with Intel. I know exactly. Literally, their latest chip, the 9800 X3D, $479 starting from. Now, that is a little bit less than Intel's latest chip from the figures I could see, but they're getting closer and closer. There used to be a bit more of a gap. So I think I've literally proven my point. They'll meet at some point if Intel don't pull the finger out of the silicon and then just move ahead. And we don't want that. I wish the AMD would. They're giving up on the high-end GPU battle, because NVIDIA are like, they end up swapping places with Apple for the world's richest company. You can't compete with NVIDIA. Like, it's impossible for the high-end cards. So I think AMD just went, you want to know what? You take that. We're very good at the low to mid-range, especially high mid-range, and we're good at the CPUs. So competition's good. I've got prices in the UK as well, actually. Sorry, let's be fair. So £469 I'm seeing from scan.co.uk.
Yep.
So the whole currency difference, don't get me started in that. That'll just piss me
deal
off.
with it all the time. I have to sit there and listen to how much more or less my money can get me.
Yeah. Count yourself lucky, Americans. Trust me, when you say something's expensive, it's really not if you go to other countries. Is there anything else any of you boys or Taro wants to mention on the latest AMD chip, AMD versus Intel? Anything you want to
My only story for you, Taro, is the computer I had prior to this one. I was running an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X, and I mean, I love that rig, and I had that for 4.5 years until things started to go out on it. So I basically needed to upgrade. And I've flip-flopped from AMD to Intel at least 3 or 4 times. When I used to build my own computers, I went Intel, AMD, Intel, AMD. And even when I stopped building them, but still pick out all my parts, I still do the same thing. I'll flip-flop depending. So this time I decided to flip-flop back to Intel since I'd been with AMD for a while. And, you know, I went out and took a look at some of the chips that were there and did a lot of reviewing and talked to Trev and Matt here and see what their opinion was. And I finally ended up settling, you know, on an i7 1370. Yeah, I can speak an i7 13700K.
Yeah.
And I've been happy with it. But the funny thing is, as soon as I got that one done for mine, I was real happy with it. Here comes an article within weeks of my building the new rig, and it says, "Oh, Intel's chips are rusting on the boards. They're oxidizing." And I'm going like, "Oh, wait a minute!" So I go to look up my chip, and I go like, "Oh, Jesus, my chip's one of them." Mine is not oxidizing,
really not ideal.
But I'm glad they extended the warranty and all that other stuff. But I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there going like, "No, come on."
Bad timing, mate. Bad timing.
But luckily, it hasn't happened, and I'm doing fine. The computer's running well, so you know, whatever.
I think if you put that stuff aside, like you know the extreme cases when you know chips are literally frying inside your PC, which is not good at all. No. I think a lot of people just get caught up in the 0.1%. You know, so your 13700K is a fine chip. You know, do a great job. You know, will the AMD equivalent that costs the same money be 3%, 5% faster? Yeah, sure, but you know, does it really matter to most people? Not really. You know, to those that want to buy stuff on the bleeding edge, yeah, it will, but not everyone wants to do that. So there's a lot of talk about you know the bleeding edge and getting the very, very best. And
I'd rather not bleed. That's not good.
Yeah, you know what? If you like Intel, buy Intel. The chips will do just fine.
I like them both. When I went Intel the last time, everybody's going like, "Oh man, you shouldn't have went Intel." I mean, excuse me, you shouldn't have went AMD. And I'm like, why? The chip I got is great. You know, and I was good with it. I mean,
there's a lot of fear of missing out. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I like the idea they're competing against each other, and you know. The thing with Intel, though, I don't know where the business practices went, you know, wrong. I mean, obviously went wrong years ago because now you see the sales are awful. We had talked about this last podcast where the U.S. government was even toying with the idea of figuring out how to bail them out. And one of the ideas they came up with was merging them with AMD. And I was going like, wow, that'd be different. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's always a possibility when you're losing that kind of money.
That's pretty wild. I can't imagine that happening.
I never thought I would hear Intel losing $16 billion in a quarter. In a year, that's bad. They lost that much in 3 months. In 3 months, like, holy moly! That's
another reason I would like AMD to try and up their GPU game, because I can't remember what it's called, but you might remember what it's called, Tar. When you have a AMD GPU and CPU working together, you get that little nice bonus. You get a little boost. Do you recall what it's called?
Oh God, I do know what that is. I can't remember what it's called.
You're on the same wavelength as me, though. They literally Intel do a version as well with their own GPUs, which is another interesting subject. They both of them work together, and it makes sense that you've got a little bit more of a boost out of it. I would like to run both of them at the same time if I could, but the most important thing to me and most gamers on PC gamers is always going to be the GPU. Hence why I've got a really good GPU, and the CPU is still good, but it's more dated now. So competition's good. I will be ready to buy more components next year, and that's probably when they bring out their new chips. And considering we're at 9800 at the moment, I don't know what the new one's going to be called, like the 0080. I don't know. Like they'll go back. I pass.
They'll probably change their whole naming convention when that happens.
Don't get me started. Oh yes, mate. That literally boils my piss. It really does. They completely changed the name to something different. They actually had an okay name, 13900, 14900K. They did add on another number. and now they've changed it to whatever it is, Ultra 285K or some shit. What?
Yeah.
I've been studying those charts
us.
to get my head around that stuff for weeks, and I still don't get it. Do
you know why they do it, man? I think they do it is to confuse the hell out of people because they've been doing so shit. It's like, let's change the names so people don't actually know what they're buying. And they just see Intel.
Yeah.
It goes back to public relations and catering to the lowest denominator. If you change the name, everybody will be going like, "Ooh, that's something I've never seen before." Like,
100%, 100%.
Surprise me.
Well, we are PC gamers first and foremost. All of us here, I think I can say that's safe to say on screen. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we were Extreme PC UK for a point because we're mostly just PC gaming. But we do everything. We do cater to everyone. I do have a PlayStation as well, but PC gaming is our first love. And it will be our most important love going forward. So, I just wanted to discuss that side of things with you, Taro, because I thought it'd be interesting to get your opinion on it while you were on the show with us.
Before you jump to the next topic, actually, I just, the 9950 X3D, which is the one at the very top of the stack, that's going to be coming early next year. Now, they're saying that this chip is going to have the 3D V cache on both of the CCDs, which means this is going to be a productivity and gaming monster when it comes out. So that's one to look out for.
Oh man, now I got to sell my motherboard.
Nice. Yeah.
What have we got? Rumored core count, CPU frequency, cost, anything like that from your knowledge?
So I think it's going to be almost exactly the same as the 7950 X3D, which is 16 cores. With hyperthreading
which Intel got rid of.
Which Intel got rid of, yeah. But it's going to have the 3D V cache on both of the CCDs, which, if you remember back to the previous generation, only had it on the bigger chips on one of the CCDs, which caused all sorts of issues with the custom scheduling and things like that. And it was a bit of it was good, but not that good. But this one, the 9950 X3D, I'm going to upgrade to that.
Do you think they'll boost up the price quite a bit, or just marginally? Do you think will it fit on the same type of motherboard process, or?
Yeah, it will fit on. It's going to be an AM5 chip, so it fit on the current motherboards. They've got new motherboards that have just started to, hit the shops, but they're still all AM5. So, and I think they've promised that until 2026, AM5 will be a standardized platform, which is not something we've seen out of Intel, which is really good.
Yeah,
I'll be curious on price.
Well, I think it's going to be 600 at the very minimum. I think it's more likely to be 700.
Jesus,
yeah,
that's a hell of a boost, isn't it?
But they've literally got no competition at that level.
My point from earlier on, that is. See. Wow, Intel,
we need a really little computer that can only run on a GPU and a CPU, and that's it. I mean, then the price can really come down.
Yeah.
You're like this big.
The other thing we wanted to discuss as well, I mean, it is myself that mostly does the PC tech stuff, but I mean, the other guys are always, I think they both know they can jump in as well. I think Gray's got one coming up shortly. I think I've just got a really big interest and passion in it because I don't build PCs for a living, but I build my own pieces when I upgrade them and replace them, whatever. And do I enjoy it? I enjoy it apart from, the bit that pisses me off, Taro, the most, and maybe you're the same. See, when it gets down to the little fiddly, footery wires for the motherboard for like AIO and things like that, and you've got big sausage fingers and you're trying to, that bit pisses me off. Apart from that, I love the rest of it, man. It's great.
Me too, yeah. Cables are the bane.
It can be fun because it's like something you're building, and the thing is, it's cheaper as well if you build your own machine. This is, like one of these days, I'm going to have to time it. If I go over to see Gray, I'm going to be like, Gray, right? What do you want to upgrade or replace in your PC, and just do it for him because I'll save the man money. Because like he pays someone else to do it, and that always costs money. And that's why I love Taro, because he doesn't rip people off. They're trying to make a profit. It's a business, but they're not one of the big names that we're not going to mention because they may want to work with Taro. So let's not mention that.
We'll just fly Carl over here, and you can build my
hey, let me know, guys. I'll build your PCs. Yeah.
Just pay for these
friends and family
plane plane ticket to Florida and accommodation, and he's good, man. Maybe a week around Disney World or something. Yeah. All good.
And then when somebody asks me how much my PC costs, he says, "Well, let's see if I add it all up. Oh, about $10,000."
I had to pay for right. The second thing we're moving on to in the tech corner. Is that what it's called now, guys? Are we naming it? What did I call it last week? The hard corner?
No, AI
corner, that was it.
We have the AI corner, the mod corner.
The hard corner, the hard corner, yeah.
The hard corner, yeah, exactly.
We are very cheesy and immature in this as well, to be fair, Tar.
We could start call it soft corner. I mean,
that's a bit too close to the bone, that one, for sure.
The bent corner.
Oh man! Right, moving on before we're cancelled.
True, Franco.
This is interesting because Gray picked this up earlier on. This is good for the clips, guys, for when we put out the shorts and on it later. So carry on. Microsoft, this is an API which is very useful. Microsoft Direct SR adds support for AMD FSR 3.1 upscaling. Now, this is very, very good because before this, obviously these things would run on Windows fine, but it wasn't hard baked into Windows the way it will be soon. And if it's hard baked into Windows, things can only go north with that and be really, really well if everything's integrated much better than it once was. You've got different techniques out at the moment. You've got Intel's one, you've got FSR, you've got DLSS, which that's my favourite, to be fair. And obviously you've got, as Gray always and Matt get a little chuckle at this one, PSSR, PSSR from PlayStation, which is only on console at the moment. But to be fair, as we discussed last week, it's currently at the moment better than FSR, which testament to something in a console, and it'll only get better, I think. But Microsoft are now going to release an upscaling API built in that will support DirectX 12 games, it will probably support other games as well, but the latest standard DirectX is 12, and that's what they're going to be baking it in with, so that FSR, which works without you having to have an AMD card per se, like it's literally free for all, will perform a lot better and a lot more efficient than it once did, which is only a good thing. Again, competition is good for people. Microsoft see this, they're baking in more gaming features to Windows. That's one of them. They have baked in the Xbox Game app and Game Bar, and pisses some people off. Some people like it, some people hate it. What's your opinion on this one, Taro? Surely this can only be a good thing for AI upscaling.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think any time that you can bake it in, which is what they're doing with DirectX, right, is it's going to make it easier for the people to code into that API because it'll be a known quantity. And we should just see games coming out as standard, being able to work with all of the upscaling technology straight out of the box. So whether you're using AMD or NVIDIA or like those one or two people Intel graphics cards, it will just all work. Which is
one or two people.
We're going to let that one fly by.
the Intel, right? We don't have this in the docket, but the Intel GPUs are, for the most part, pretty crap. However, I think Taro, again, you'll be able to jump in, have more of the expertise in this. Certainly at the low and or medium level, they're actually pretty decent. And what's it you were saying before? They're really good at the codec side of things, are they not? With the media side of things, are they not?
Yeah, so if you're running like a home media center, they're really good for transcoding video, transcoding to send out video in different resolutions and things like that. So because they're all AV1 as standard, so it's a really good modern codec, and in that application they're really good. But they're just not powerful enough.
No, they're not. It's not it's not really their thing, and I find it hilarious that they're still working on this when they're bleeding money per the second. So try and get on board with your CPUs
I hope they don't
first,
stop,
guys.
though. You know, because again, it's competition. There's more competition, right? If they don't stop, they'll get better at it, and then hopefully they will be a competition.
They might have to, though, mate. If they're struggling that bad, that's something they might have to sell off, or
I think they might just sell it off. Yeah,
they sold off an element, their modem section to Apple. Did they not? Was it them that sold off the modem division to Apple so they could make their own?
Yeah, they also sold off the storage medium they were using. I can't remember the name of it now. But there's kind of like SSDs that act like RAM. I can't forget them.
Yeah. Direct storage? I can't remember. Yeah,
there was a direct storage.
Yeah. So this Microsoft Direct SR API, it will be one less level and layer for people to try and get through, for coders, programmers to get through, so that the closer you are to the source, it's just going to be a lot better, more efficient. And that probably will take it up and possibly beat Pisser to be number 2 in the list. Everyone loves a good Pisser. And I will actually, I bought the small side tangent. I did buy the PS5 Pro because I'm an enthusiast. I want to have all this stuff. And the advantages of not having a wife and kids, so much more money. I want to have a bit of all these things. Although what I ended up doing, Graves and Matt, I ended up sending it back because in the UK, Matt, Very, the catalogue company, Tara will know them as well. They were doing a phenomenal deal where, and I think it's still available for those in the UK, the disc drive for that console is sold out in the UK constantly. Like, you get it in the States, okay, but it's always sold out here. And it's £100 here and $80 in the States. Like, somebody really needs to do math there. Like, for me, that makes no sense. But it's always sold out here. So they were doing it. They were doing that. Yeah, you can make some money. They were doing a deal where it was £700 or $700 for the console. But if you paid just under $800, you would get the console. You would get the disk drive included, but they would also give you 20% off your first-time credit order. So that took both items down to like £640 for me. So I'm getting the disk drive for free, plus I'm saving another £60. It was a no-brainer. So I was like, I'll package it back up and send it off. So get that. I get that in another week and a half. I'll be patient, but then I was going to do an unboxing of that and stick it on the channel, but it'll be too bit late by then. But I will give my impressions of that, of course, when I get it out. So, right, I think the Trev's Hard Corner is done and dusted, Great. That's why I'm naming it now officially.
Okay. My turn. AI Corner, if you want to call it that. If you've been listening to the podcast the last few weeks, we've been covering different things with AI because it's just it's so prevalent and it's fun to talk about and seeing all the amazing things it's doing. But one of the things that we can relate to a lot was, of course, the Doom. Now, the game Doom came out in the 90s, and the thing that with Doom, the first Doom, is the fact that they can put it on anything and it'll run. They've had it on, rotting potatoes that produce some kind of electricity, and they ran Doom. They put Doom on your refrigerator displays. They put Doom on all kinds of things. But when I saw what this was, the new application, I thought was like, wow, this is very interesting. So they decided to take Doom, the original, and run it into a true neural network. And the reason why they wanted to do this is to see whether the programs that they have could actually have it create a game out of virtually nothing, except for a little bit of input and stuff about the game and a lot of explanation. In other words, like when you do Chat GPT, you type in as much explanation as you can, and the AI pumps out what it thinks or you want. So basically, they decided that why not give it a shot and see whether the neural network could actually put together the game just on a basic amount of information. So the researchers came from Google, of course, and Tel Aviv University, and they decided to use a generic. I can speak. A generic
easy for you to say.
AI models to run the game without any normal video game engine. So there's no video game engine, period, in all this. And I do have a little clip if we can get this going here. Let me share here because it's It's pretty wild, to say the least.
And let's not forget, Doom can also run on anything, including the new alarm clock from Nintendo. Someone got it to run on that.
Guys, take a look at this now. This is totally no game engine, period. They just threw it through, they put it through the neural network, and they said, do this, and here's some parameters, and it created this. And for you guys out there listening to audio, you can check this out on YouTube and/or wait for our video podcast, which I'll have the footage. But if you're looking at the game, it's looking pretty much like the game is supposed to look.
That's crazy.
And it's totally wild. When I saw this, I was going like, no, they couldn't. And it looks really good. I mean, it's hard to tell the difference between this and the real game. That's what was so interesting. But this is game breaking, if you no pun intended. Because if this thing can do this, and we've been talking about how AI has been doing a lot of other things with gaming, man, I'm telling you, where this is going to go is going to be like, if you watch in a couple of years or less, it's going to be amazing. They said they trained the model by feeding it 900 million frames that were taken from Doom game footage, just game footage, not code or anything. Okay, just game footage. The neural network then decided to figure out what the next frames would be and what should happen, and it just decided it relatively on its own based on the input. And they came out with what we just saw on the whole thing. So I'm like, I mean, what do you guys think? I just think it's crazy.
There's hope for Ubisoft.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
But I mean, that's another mega step for AI. I mean, I could not believe how good it looked. I mean, and like baby steps, AI does, this, and imagine where it's going to go and where it already is and so forth. But I thought that was crazy. Really,
I was just wondering, did Doom Guy's eyebrows, were they so animated in the original game? Because
yes, they were.
You see him just going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. In fact, hey, I've just come on to something. I reckon Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stole that from Doom Guy. I think Doom Guy has got a lawsuit in his hand here, man. I think.
Man. But here's the thing with Doom Guy,
eyebrows.
Right. See, most people can only raise one eyebrow like this. See, like I do. But to do both, like back and forth like this, man, that takes talent.
You always took the piss out of that. I mean, you love Doom, but anything past Doom 2016. See, Gray is a visual snob, right?
No.
It's not you are. Don't defend yourself. 8 and 16-bit. You're like, I'm not playing that 8-bit stuff, man. And when I said they remastered Doom 1 and 2 recently, remember that? It came out in Game Pass for free, and they upscaled it to 4K, but it still looked old but nice at the same time. And I said, look at this, great, they've remastered the audio and stuff. And he's like, oh, that's cool, but it still looks like 8-bit shit. I was like, oh my God, I'm flying over there to give you the big Batman slap.
First of all, from my perspective, Carl, just so you know, is that because I'm a lot older than these young whippersnappers, I played Doom when Doom came out. So when Doom came out, I was so thrilled because I was going like, what is this? And I just had a blast playing it. So I played the hell out of that game and the subsequent Dooms after that. But as time goes on, like anything else, I like to see how the improvements go. But when they came out with Doom 2016, I was like, oh my God. I said I couldn't believe how good it was. And then they did Doom Eternal, and then the Medieval's coming out soon. I mean, it just looks so good. I can't go back. I'm sorry. If I go back, I'll go back for a little bit just for nostalgia reason. But when I've seen and played every game just about up until the new ones, it's night and day, man. I mean, it just
I agree. Yeah, I'm the same way.
And and the thing about there's not a lot of games that have good replayability, and you can go back to the Doom 2016 and also Eternal, and you can play those over and over again. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to play the whole campaign over again. You could just go in and play like a certain area or section and have a blast. And then once you get through the game, of course, you've unlocked all the weapons. So now you go back in and play through the levels with all the weapons. It's just great.
I think I really, really disagree with you on this one. I think the 8-bit and the 16-bit era is basically perfection, as good as it gets. All of the best games.
Yeah, for years ago.
Back there, where everything was made for story and for fun rather than just all about.
Well, let's.
Do you want a job, Taro? I think we're someone's leaving. Someone's leaving the company soon from Florida. I think, yeah.
The only reason I'm gonna stop you right there is from a graphics point. I mean, from a story viewpoint, I agree with you a lot because I was looking at a video I posted in our Discord when they're talking about Metal Gear Solid. And when you go back to some of the old Metal Gear Solid games that right now they look like hell because of the graphics are so old. But if you watch the story and listen to the story and know the script, the story was quite good. You know, so I kind of split it down the middle. I will always treat story separate from the graphics. So the story could be solid, but the graphics are like, you know, but I that's
yeah, but it's a nostalgia thing. You said nostalgia. That's still. I don't go back and go, "Oh, this is phenomenal graphics," and you go back for nostalgia mode. That's the whole point. That's it.
I understand, and there's plenty of people that do that, and I'm more power to them if they have a blast doing that. I don't. It's just, you know,
I find myself going back quite a lot to play games like, I don't know, Secret of Mana or Chrono Trigger for probably the fourth or fifth time.
Trigger.
You know, they're just so good.
Oh, I mean, hey, listen. Great. Do you want to tell Tar what you use for a mouse?
Oh, I have a trackball. I've always used a trackball for many years.
I use the trackball, Tar. I rest my case.
But I don't use the crappy trackball. There's a company out that actually makes professional precision made trackballs. In fact, the company is called Game Ball.
Guaranteed no fluff around the ball or in the little space where the ball is.
Well, I used to
remember that time you used to have to clean out the fluff and stuff where the trackball was.
That's typical. That's the same
as
those
were the days. Stuff like that, I'm happy to leave way in the past. Right?
Yes, exactly.
But, you know, get lasers for mice, brilliant. But, the 8-bit, 16-bit games,
I've been using a trackball for at least 15, 20 years now, and I can play much better with a trackball than I can with a regular mouse.
That's all you know, to be fair.
You know, so, I mean, there was games I played. What was it? We played a game one time in... I can't remember the game right now, but it was a science fiction game, Elite Dangerous, and we played soccer on a planet, right? Because we figured out a way to take one of the spheres and drop it on the ground and play soccer with it, or play football, as you call it. So we had 2-on-2, right? And I'm sitting there just scoring away using a trackball because I know what I'm doing. And everybody's going like, "There's no way you could do that." And I said, "Yeah, watch this." And I just rolled.
It can be a little bit of 2-on-2 action. That's all I'll say.
It was great. I would just like run away. I mean, I can spin on a dime with my trackball. It's great. And I mean, the
thing is, right? Gray plays. He loves Sniper Elite. Is that the game? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
he loves that game.
Yeah,
and I guess for the precision in that respect, for swinging the trackball really quickly because it's the thumb trackball thing rather than the old school one, maybe would be good. But if you're trying to play COD,
Carl,
like up higher.
A bit higher.
So
that's crazy, man. I don't know how you do it.
But see, when you're playing COD, like this, how could you play a FPS, a fast FPS game like COD that well with a track?
Yeah,
easily.
You must have the best thumb in the whole world, man. This thing must be like this thing should be like preserved for history.
I'm a good thumber.
At this point, you might as well just ditch the mouse and keyboard and just use a controller, Grey Gamer.
No, God, no. I hate controllers. I'm not good at them. I played God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West on a PlayStation 5 only because I love those games so much. But in order for me to be able to play the games and enjoy it, instead of doing the medium difficulty, I had to come back one. If I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy myself because that controller is driving me crazy. See, now I've used, I don't know about, you, Charles, or anybody, but I use a programmable keyboard, and I've used a programmable keyboard for 15, 20 years as well. And each time when it gets old, I get into a new one. So I have a Corsair that I've had for a few years, and I have 18 different G buttons, G keys on my left. And I always reprogram the keys to do. I don't like to go WASD. I put my keys side by side instead of up down, and I can do much faster. And also on some games that are ridiculous, where they say like, "Oh, well, if you want to do this, you have to go click this and then move that and then roll this just to do like one movement." I said, "The hell with this! I just do a macro on my programmable keyboard. I hit one key and it does what I want it to do."
You're blowing my mind right now, honestly.
It's just like it's great. I mean, I would never play with a single game without. And this is not a cheap keyboard. This thing was over $200.
Let's see the keyboard.
MX switches, everything. I mean,
let's see it. Does it lift up your keyboard? Like, can you show us?
I don't know
the people
see it properly, but
I've never done the macros. I don't know why. Look at the size of that. Wow,
Oh
it's
my
got its
God,
own
it's a
postcode.
monster.
Huge.
See, here's my G
Wow.
keys right here. A whole set of 18.
It must be the size of your desk.
No, but it gets there. Yeah, but I when I first found out about this, there was no going back for me, and I had to use a Logitech one for the longest time. And then what they did was they came out with a new version, but they killed some of the G keys. So instead of 18, you were short like six keys or 8 keys or 9 keys. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And so I had to search around to find one like this again, and
Great.
I did, and I was really happy with it. I like things the way I like them.
Call up size comment. That's the council tax. That is.
Did you see the new? I posted on our Discord that they came out with a new keyboard. I don't remember the name of it right now, but 183 keys on this keyboard, and it weighs 5 kilos, and it's made out of steel.
Great. You got a comment to call up.
The what?
From Si. You're the man that can call up the comments. I can't
I'm
not controlling it this time. Yeah, Si said, "Does this keyboard pay council tax?"
There you go.
No, that is Paddy's Road to Nowhere. If you remember that song. Best of all, they don't pay council tax.
Look, down with the controller. Yeah.
No, not that one. The council tax one.
No, I put the other one. I did that already. I just
okay.
switched. Another
Blink, can you miss it? I haven't heard of this keyboard. Why would you want that keyboard? So you could use it as a lethal weapon and batter someone around the head if they try and break into your house.
I couldn't believe the size and the weight of this thing. I was like, oh my God. I just it's literally a monster. I mean, it weighs a lot. I mean, you can definitely kill somebody. But it has its own handle on the back, a steel handle, so you have to pop it up so you can carry
bloody
it.
Big. Oh my God. Wow. The thing is, right, keyboard and mouse wise, I use I can't remember the exact model, but I use the Logitech Lightspeed stuff because I had this image in my head, Tarl, that in my old place, and I never done it. So I bought these. I wanted to be able to game on my PC, from my PC to my LG TV sometimes. So I bought these like cushion things, right? And this like bit of, that's like plastic or something. It's a gaming station, right? So you could rest on your couch and you could just game, right? And I wanted it to be wireless so that I've got less things to connect up. Now, we've got to the stage, I think, in my opinion, that you can game, unless you're like an esports guy, you can game wireless with a keyboard and mouse, and I doubt you would notice any difference for the Joe Blogs out there. With the Lightspeed stuff, it connects to a Wi-Fi dongle, so it uses Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth, so it is rapid. Again, if you're esports, you probably want that extra couple of milliseconds back. But for me, done the job. Did I use it on the couch? Did I? Hell, used it a couple of times, and I've got this wireless stuff now, but are you boys like wireless or your peripherals? Are you wired? Are you hardcore about that?
Wired.
My keyboard's not wireless. The only thing that can be wireless is my trackball if I want it to be.
I'm not against wireless, but everything I have seems to be wired. So,
well, you know, the thing about that is the further away the dongle is from your piece, whatever it is, the worse it's going to be for transferring information. But if you're standing right next to it, I mean, the dongle from my mouth is literally like about 1 foot away, right, a few inches. So you're not going to get any lost. But if the dongle is located further away or something, or maybe the dongle was in a PlayStation and you're way across the room, you're going to start losing it. You're going to,
Mm-hmm. Plus, we've got. I mean, most houses have so many, Wi-Fi networks walking around, especially if you live in flats. You know, you got multiple Bluetooth devices. You got to imagine that there's some interference going on there. You know, just like all the talking and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, there will be a lot of interference. A lot of these dongles for like the peripherals and stuff. This is getting a bit super geeky and technical, so apologies. You can switch off for a moment if you want. They use the 2.4 gigahertz channel. And that is the one that's congested the most because there's so many devices in that. But there's like 5 gigahertz, there's 6 gigahertz now. I'm really surprised they don't move any of these peripherals to like 5 gigahertz because that is faster. Yes, you need a shorter range, but can you imagine a keyboard had connectivity modes for 2.4 and 5, and it had one dongle that done both, or 2 dongles that one on each, so you could choose? Because I have my shit close on purpose. I would like that extra speed. 2.4 is good, Gray, because within reason, as long as you don't have a shit ton of things, you could use that across the room, and it's better for your range. But see, when you're using your Wi-Fi at home, a lot of these routers a lot of them will have smart Wi-Fi in there, so it can switch between the 2.4 and the 5 gig channel. But I turn that shit off because see my my little Alexa thing for controlling the lights only works in 2.4, right? But the thing is, it can't. The smart Wi-Fi can't distinguish between the two. So half the time I turn it off, and then I can connect to whatever I need to. I make 2 separate channels, and I connect all my little light bulbs and stuff to 2.4. But 5 is better. It just, not as many things connect to it. It doesn't have the same kind of range, but it's always my preference. I got a bit technical.
Probably more expensive though, right? Because you know those tiny little dongles probably cost, I don't know, 50 pence or whatever in 2.4. But you know, are they going to be £5 if they're 5 gig? I don't know.
Well, if you try, I think they are. I think I looked online, and they were a little bit more costly. And I get it. It's fine. It's better. It costs more. I think the latest routers, like the Wi-Fi 7 ones, they're using 2.4 gig, 5 gig, 6 gig, like combining all these bands together to give you like some supercharged shit that no one needs.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy with Wi-Fi 6. They are like, and hardly anyone's providing them. I think EE, because I was looking at new broadband, EE here in the UK, ISP, were offering the Wi-Fi 7 router, but you were having to pay an extra £10 a month to get it. And I've got like Wi-Fi 6 or 6E and rapid quick. I don't know. You don't need it. You really don't.
I mean, I all my tech stuff is pretty cutting edge. I don't have a single device that's Wi-Fi 7.
Yeah,
I think that Matt does the iPhone 16's Wi-Fi 7. I don't think the 15 is, but the 16 is. But yeah, there's not many things, mate. You're right. I think the PS5 Pro might be Wi-Fi 7, but that's not many things.
It's very limited.
I'm waiting till Wi-Fi 10, then maybe I might, make it.
You'll be dead then, great. You'll be dead, mate.
But what are the speeds of Wi-Fi 7 though? They're like, what is it, 25 gigabit?
I can't remember the speeds off the top of my head, but we're getting to the stage, Tara, where we don't actually need the speed. We're just literally wanting, say you've got a 2 gig connection coming into your house, you want to be able to run your devices at that 2 gig with multiple things running in the background at the same time and it not be a problem. We're getting to the stage where we can't get much better anyway.
Sure.
And let's say, like, I've got a gig down on my connection. If I'm doing a speed test on my laptop, which is wireless, of course, I can get almost a gig. I get over 900. Yes, I'm close to my router, but that's Wi-Fi 6 or 6E. So, like, 7 is no need for me. I don't really see where we go from this. Yeah. Your ISPs are not quick enough at the moment to actually give you those speeds. So,
I mean, even 6E, if you have a 6E router, that's, I think, 10 gig. So, I mean, who needs to move files around their home network at 10 gigabit?
It's a lot of porn. It's a lot of porn. Matt does. Yeah, Matt does. He's nodding. He's, give me all the porns. Anyway, right, so we got a bit... Sorry,
I put up a comment before from Katrin. Hi, Katrin. And she was saying she has a Corsair K100 keyboard, which is also programmable. And she has G keys too. The only difference is I have a K95 RGB, Katrin. So I have 18 G keys. She only has, I think, 9 or something, or 6, whatever it is. But she knows what it's about, and she programs her keys. See,
I've got a G915, light speed. Man, it sounds like something out of VR Troopers or Power Rangers or something. The G915.
but is it programmable, and can you do macros on it and all that? But
it's solid enough to hit you around the head with and probably actually remain intact. To be fair, no, I don't like the programmable shit. It's for me that is like MMO stuff.
Yeah,
like, you then get the mouse. I'm not into that stuff. I know, but it's the image I get in my head. I
don't do that many macros, but when I come up to a game, sometimes that's ridiculous, where you have to move things 3 different ways to just do one move. That's stupid.
That's
so
what the programmable keyboard. That's what the programmable mouse is for. Sorry, that's why a lot of MMO players will actually have a mouse.
I tried to use the one time. I don't like those mouses with the 20.
You should be good at that. You've got the fastest thumb in the West wearing that trackball. You should be a pro at those MMO mouses, man.
I don't like the buttons. I'd rather do the keyboard than that. But
Oh, is there macro keys in this, actually?
Oh, that's interesting. Katrin was saying the new K95s only have 6 macro keys. Ooh, that sucks.
Mine doesn't have any at all.
Yeah, I don't think they make the ones anymore with 18 buttons, Katrin. That's part of the problem. If this keyboard ever dies, I got to go on eBay to try to find it. or whatever.
You can get one of those Stream Decks or things for,
I have a
for
Stream
macros
Deck.
as well,
I have
right?
a Stream Deck.
Yeah.
He doesn't use it.
Oh, I've done that. When I was playing a lot of hours in Elite Dangerous, I had macroed on my Stream Deck several different things. Because that was a game where you had to like, okay, I have to do this, and then you have to do this, and then you have to call for the guy to let you on the ship, and da da da. And I would just hit one button, and yeah, okay, and I'm ready to go. So yeah,
I don't think I have the patience to set it all up. Honestly, I get the benefit of macros, but it's just a lot of work getting.
Yeah, but you know what? With
working.
the software they have now, it's really not that difficult. In the old days, without the software, you could do macros, but boy, it was a pain. Now with the software, it's like click, 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 and it's it.
I'm like Trev with that.
Yeah,
use it for MMOs only, pretty much. So anything that I use,
it's not like I use a lot of macros. I really don't. It's just that when I see idiots that sit there and make these great moves that you can do in a game have to involve 4 different moves, 3 different moves, 5 different moves, I'm going like, are you high? So I just sit there and program the macro. I'm not doing that.
And yet you'll still get killed over and over again, Chris. So
it depends on the game.
Anyway.
Try playing Sniper Elite and Sniper Ghost Warrior on almost the hardest, the one below the hardest. Expert, it's like
you still haven't shot Hitler's other testicle off, mate. You
that was a program glitch. I went after Hitler to shoot his balls or whatever. It would, and Hitler disappears. He never appears when he's supposed to.
But the balls stay.
Tar, that's a thing. That's like one of these what they called, I guess, trophy type thing. You can get on Steam if you shoot his other testicle off.
Yeah,
because we all know the other one's in Albert Hall.
Oh,
then
achievement. Yeah.
You get an achievement. Thank you. There's the word I was looking for. And he still hasn't done it. You play it through from the start to the end. I want to see that man's nut come off.
I mean, I don't know this game, but any game where you can shoot Hitler's balls off sounds great to me.
Ball.
Exactly.
The other one's in Albert Hall. His mother. Actually, let's not finish the rest of that song.
That's true, yeah.
Used to gobble all.
Tatchins did all the Helldiver 2 combos and macros. See? She knows what I'm talking about.
We have got anytime
that would be handy.
You're my hero.
Boys, anytime there's anything funny in this, like Taro can do this as well, there's a bottom left, there's a button that says mark clip. Because AI will do it for us, but if we manually want to go in, because there's gold in this already for clips later on.
Oh, last podcast was real gold. We had so many funny moments. I'm just going click, 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 click.
These two, like, because I was on my Mac exclusively and I've got my PC now, I was literally going to the article that I was reading or pulling information from, paraphrasing, of course, don't read it all. I couldn't see them, so I went onto another tab and I'm talking about PSSR, pisser, and I hear I thought we're Matt was
he can't
sneezing
even
or something. He's pissing himself, laughing, doubled over, laughing away. And I watched this bag, and these little fuckers have clipped it and put it out on all the social.
People listen to us. Check out YouTube and look at the shorts because we did a lot of the funny ones on the shorts.
Or TikTok, or X, or
all those. Yep. And
I watched a few of those today. They're pretty good.
Well, Trev was a perfect straight man without even trying to be a straight man.
Because he only had I could see.
Well, he only had the one screen, so he couldn't see what we were doing. It was perfect. Matt and I are laughing and falling out of our chair, and he's just going. It was great. It turned out much better that way. Anyway, let's talk some games. Matt played a couple of games, thank goodness. Otherwise, we wouldn't have any games this week. So, Matt, go take it away. What have you been playing?
Right, so I've changed the title to Games Corner, just so we have.
Why not? Everybody's got a corner. Might as well.
There we go. So I put the Quest 3 on a test run. So with that came with the Batman Arkham Shadow, which I loaded up, installed. So far, it's been a really good game. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Good.
Very good. Yeah. There we go. And we're done. It got me straight into being Batman, and it was a great laugh.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it really? Oh, you've got to say it though. You've got to say it. If you're really him, you've got to say the thing.
What would you like me to say? Batman. Where is it?
I'm Batman.
Yeah. Who am I?
Can you imagine saying everything in Batman's voice? Like, get out of the bathroom.
Christian Bale's voice was knackered for weeks after he'd done that, so no.
Yeah. And everybody was pleased.
He was a voice changer like everyone else. He literally done that, and he was like, I'm done, man.
Absolutely.
He goes hard on his roles.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt, carry on.
Did you say you played Arkham Shadow in the Quest?
Yeah, Quest 3.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a Quest game. Yeah, absolutely. So
I still got to get my Quest going, so I want to know.
Oh, I'm amazed you haven't put it on yet.
I've been so freaking busy with junk.
So yeah, it's developed by Camouflage and published by Oculus Studios. It's the second VR game in the Batman Arkham series, and a narrative sequel to, of course, Batman Arkham Origins, which was released on October 21st. So this was for the Meta Quest 3, and it also runs on the Quest 3S, which immerses.
That's the cheap version.
Immersed, yeah, it is. Yeah, so it definitely had to be immersed. So you're in Gotham's dark streets, of course. The storyline is set with 6 months after Arkham Origins. The game follows the younger, less experienced Batman as he tries to stop a new villain, the Rat King, from unleashing chaos into Gotham City. The gameplay features a rhythmic free-flow combat and stealth predator sequence moves.
Matt, come a little closer in your mic because you're cutting out a little.
Sorry.
Say again now, that last line?
Sorry, as I was saying.
What about a rhythmic?
Yeah.
Rhythmic.
Yeah. So it's got a rhythmic free-flow combat and stealth predator sequence, like previous Arkham games has. So the players can glide, grapple, and use a variety of gadgets to navigate around Gotham. It does take quite a bit of getting used to the combat system, using the cape, because instead of using the cape, I'd grab a batarang instead, or I'm just flapping my hands around like a goose. Terrible. Not good when you're trying to battle things.
You should get your son to record some of that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you should do. Absolutely. So the game offers a first-person perspective, making players feel like they are truly Batman. Which I've got to say, the graphics inside of the game is absolutely lovely. You do feel like when you're looking down, you can see the Batman suit, you got cape and all that, and the shadow of the cowl and everything coming through is fantastic.
Matt, did you play with the 2 handheld pieces?
I did.
You have to.
Yeah,
okay,
you have to. Yeah. I was hoping that you didn't have to, because
I was wondering what
use the hands a lot more. Yeah. Maybe one day they'll put that through. That'd be even better. The combat part involves physically throwing punches and blocking attacks using your cape and swinging across to block bigger enemies. Yeah, from their attacks. So it is very intense.
Does it stop a bullet?
No. But the game does have a tech tree on the 4 different sides. So you got your combat, you got your bat suit, you got your gadgets, and then you've got predator mode as well, which is when you swing up on top of the rafters and you're crouched down, you can swing down and grab an enemy. So those things you can upgrade, as well as the bat suit, what combats you can use. So it's quite good, even though I still get confused with what I'm doing. There we go.
Are you sure his cape can't stop bullets? Because the character's cape can actually stop bullets. Not like outside the game. Like, that's the whole thing. He would use his cape a lot of time to shield from bullets.
Well, in the comics, in the comics, there was times where he could, and then there was some iterations where he couldn't.
Yeah,
and then there was other ones where it would deflect the bullet, but it wouldn't,
Yeah, absolutely. So the game delves into Bruce Wayne's early years as he struggles to balance his dual life. So the players get to step into the shoes of Matches Malone, one of Bruce's criminal disguises, which is where I've got to so far, which is fantastic. So with that, you gather extra secrets and intel and interact with Gotham's underworld.
What's that? But Bruce has got an intel chip. What do you say? No, Batman can't be an Intel guy. No.
Yeah, but his Batwing's got an AMD, so it's all good.
Yeah, there you go.
So very cheesy, I know.
Yeah. So the reception of the game has been received really well. It's got positive reviews for its engaging narrative, very immersive VR experience.
I was going to say, is it only VR or no?
Yeah.
It's
a VR exclusive game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's the faithful recreation of Arkham's series. They've done a really good job on it. But there are some glitches and bugs. Some people are saying that gadgets are malfunctioning. They don't intend to work on it, like when they're trying to, like me, trying to get the cape to swing around and just grabbing a batarang instead is a bit of a nightmare. Interactable items, some items that you can use or interactive can behave oddly, or they'll clip in to the scenery, which I've had a couple of times.
That always happens in games, Matt. It's so annoying.
Does.
I don't know why it's so hard to stop clipping.
Yeah,
I think it's a lazy thing. Like, people would have to go out their way to program that, and the amount of time they just go, nah, screw it.
Yeah. Sometimes there's freezing issues as well, where players' arms would freeze during combat. I wish I had that problem, but I didn't.
That would be rough, huh? Your arms freeze and beat the crap out of you.
Absolutely. So I think a few of them I had. Yeah. Before getting on to continuing where I left off, it will freeze sometimes, so I'll have to restart the game. I get that. Another one is sometimes my hands would freeze at a certain position, but it'll freeze momentarily and then come back. I always thought it was like a tracking issue, but there is an in-game thing there. Overall, I think the game is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. It's great fun. When you get to high levels, because you're up in the on the what do you call it, the rooftops rafters as well, the rafters and all that. When you're looking down, sometimes you're like, oh my god, sort of thing. I think sometimes I even felt kind of dizzy, going, oh my goodness. But yeah, it does.
Can you stand at the top of a church spire and look down upon the city?
No, you're crouched. Which is unfortunate. It'd be nice to like stand up and then get your cape into and glide down, which you can do. You can glide down fine from there and do your normal glide kick that you'd get from the game. So yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it. Cool. It's got great storyline as well so far.
I'll have to pick it up now that you told me.
Actually, Matt, the disappointment for me is, well, that looked great. There must have been at least one patch, if not patches, out so far, and it's kind of disappointing that there's still problems.
Yeah,
like the clipping, whatever, we're being pernickety, right? I get it. Like every game does that, or most games do that. But for it to crash, come on, guys. Really?
This is pretty standard now, right? I mean, games don't come out finished anymore. That's just not.
Don't get started in that, man. We'll be here at midnight.
We've been ranting on that for a while. I know that's like
it's piss poor. It's because their expectations are too high, and they're putting more and more time into it. Some of the best games I've ever played. One of the best games of the last 5 years I've played is Stray. You know that game with the cat?
The cat,
yeah.
That didn't take them long to make. That's a very small indie team. Phenomenal game. Stardew Valley, not my cup of tea. One guy makes it. Like there's examples. You don't have to go Billy Big Balls and everything. No. And then just look at play Sony there and Concord. Oh my God! Talk about setting a truck full of cash up in flames, man. Like they make some cracking games. In terms of story-driven games, I think, in my opinion, Sony make the best games for that. I love games like Days Gone, Last of Us, and stuff like that, and they're phenomenal. But they'll spend $200 million on them easy. But you don't have to do that to make a great game.
No.
I get angry. I get angry about that.
That's why AAA are tougher.
Yeah.
I was looking at an article on this game, the Batman game, and Tech Radar have said that it's a masterclass in what a VR game should be. That's really encouraging because I'm a bit of a VR naysayer. So
why? You've not played Half-Life Alyx, have you? The best VR game that ever existed. That's phenomenal. It's the best one.
No, I haven't, because I'm not convinced by VR. So my best friend Frank, he is a VR junkie. He loves it, and he's tried to get me onto VR games quite a lot, and I just can't get into them.
Take my word for it, mate. Even if you don't want to buy a VR headset or get into it, speak to your boy Frank. Right? Is that his name, Frank? Speak to him and be like, crank up. He will have this Half-Life Alyx and try it for 10, 20 minutes. Oh my Lord. They built that from the ground up for VR, and it is stunning. Easily. There you go. Frank is there, coming in there. Alex is awesome.
It sounds like this is as well. This Batman game looks to be, because it's just VR, right? So yeah, I'm almost tempted. I love Batman, so I mean, sorry.
How much? There you beat me to. I was going to say, how well do you like him depends on how good your croaky Bane voice is.
Everybody's chiming in on Alex now.
It is a life experience. Like, I played a couple of times through, and I very rarely play a game a second time through, because there's so many games out there that, like, I'm not going to go back to it. But it's stunning, and especially when you get a new VR headset and you can run it at higher fidelity and a new PC, and stunning. It's as close as we're ever going to get to Half-Life 3. One of the best Half-Life games, one of the best games of all time. Just anyway. That's my part there. Sorry, Mr. Matt. I don't know if you had more information on the Batmans, but are you going to complete it soon?
It looks like I am, yeah. It depends. It only says that I'm 11% through, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, you got a real good size game.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Would you recommend it then? How much it costs? How much did it cost?
Well, I got it for free, didn't I?
How? It came free with the new headsets. I thought you'd had your headset for a while.
No, I had the Quest 2. I've got the Rift, and now the Quest 3. So, for the kids, of course. You know.
Oh yeah, of course.
That'll be a game I'll put on my list since I have a Quest. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have enough time to play the games that are coming out, but let alone Quest. So, and I have one.
Well, it's good. Play, Mr. Matt.
Well done. So we're back to the PC again. This time to play some Call of Duty. So I played Call of Duty with a few work colleagues a couple of days ago, including Zeka Boy as well.
Did you use a tri-ball?
No balls were harmed in the making of this.
No balls are harmed.
Not even Hitler's balls.
That's where you shot him.
Yeah. That's pretty much where all my shots were going.
Yeah.
I did the campaign part. Black Ops is the latest installment of the popular first-person shooter, developed by Treyarch and Raven Software. It was released on October the 25th.
We played it. Remember, the three of us jumped in and played the pre.
Oh, we did. We did the pre-beta. Beta. We did the closed beta, didn't we?
You played it since release, but we played it before with the three of us. So what's different now that when we played the early release to now?
We've got the campaign now.
Well, yeah.
Which is actually decent, apparently.
It is. It is really good. Some of the storyline I didn't really grasp onto with this super soldier thing and the puzzles.
Oh, they never done a super soldier thing, did they? Oh, no.
Yeah, but then at the end of it, it didn't really climax that much. Like, it wasn't really used. So I was like, what was the point of it? Yeah. So,
too many jokes.
Yeah. So, so the campaign follows the story of rogue operatives battling a paramilitary group with sinister intentions.
Always rogue operatives, aren't they?
Who
are they? The IRA?
No.
Oh, okay. You said paramilitary group.
Yeah. Different one. Completely different. Better hardware, better kit. So there you go. And there's a lot more of them. It was quite good. They have the multiplayer, which is normal. Loads of new maps. I think they've also got the one that everybody likes, Nuketown.
Oh, classic.
Brilliant. You've got the zombies mode as well.
The three of us are going to be playing this, by the way.
The three of us got to do the zombies.
The zombies mode looks really good.
It is fun.
Treyarch are the gods of the zombie stuff. Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, they actually had a story that went all the way through that I was invested in.
Yeah.
And they were phenomenal. And Matt probably remembers this as well. The three of us are going to play this because it looks like they went back to that kind of idea, and it looks like fun. And that's my favourite part of it.
It is good, absolutely. I mean, looking at weapons, they've minimized completely. There's hardly anything in the store. You got your classic, you got your classic weapons, and you got blueprints that you can unlock through the game. So from there, you can change your existing weapons and use them throughout the campaign. You can unlock them by doing challenges, and for the multiplayer as well, there's challenges to unlock those skins and attachments, of course, as well. I love the multiplayer. It was fun, fantastic. It is fast-paced. They have new movements as well.
Explain them, mate. They're hilarious.
It's hard to explain.
It's
got omni movement.
If you play football and you're from outside the UK, you basically dive like one of them a lot. So you'll dive and get a yellow card. It's like that. Yeah. You dive forward, don't you? Shooting. It's like Max Payne a little bit.
Slide. Yeah, pretty much. But without the slow, good stuff. Not a lot of people have been using these moves that I've seen throughout the matches. I've tried it myself, and I just ended up just getting smacked into a wall, typically. So there you go. So the Omni movement is there. Some people use it, some people haven't. A lot more people haven't.
That's what it's called, Omni movement.
That's right. Yes, cool. Yeah. So you can sprint, slide, dive in any direction, which is hilarious. Just seeing somebody side jump from one corridor to another one.
You can play with us, right? See, once I finally unpack everything else in my flat, and I can actually find shit, because there's a reason there's a green screen on. Trust me, guys. You call the police just for the crimes that are committed in this flat. I want to get back into playing a bit of COD. I also want to play zombies with you guys. And Catherine, you're always welcome, pal. You know that. You could come in and join us, and you show us how it's done, because... him. It's Ali G, or Ali, whatever his name was. He went over to play... He went over, Ali A. He was a COD guy for so long. That's how he became famous, YouTuber. Mm-hmm. Then he went to Fortnite for ages, and I lost all respect for him. And yeah, sorry, I'm dissing Fortnite, guys. I don't even care who's upset. I was like, why? Would you do this, man? Like, why? And then he's going back to COD again. So he's good. He's very good.
He's seen his error in his ways, and he's gone back to COD.
I don't know.
I want to know where this gun comes from. We're showing some footage of the zombies. Anybody on the audio part of our podcast? But look at this gun this guy has. I didn't even know they had a gun like that. That's like crazy.
You rank everything up, man. Yeah,
those challenges.
Different operators, different soldiers and whatnot. So you could literally take the zombie operator skin into the multiplayer or something, and you'd be running about like a zombie. Like cool shit like that. And it looks like this is a full infested open map with a story behind it with shit to upgrade. This is brilliant. Look at that. It's a it's like Dragon's Mouth, man.
Yeah. That's it. And you got quests that you have to do as well.
Oh, we're going to have fun with
to complete.
I can see that.
Oh, man.
I think myself and Adam were playing this, and the amount of times I've died on this and people have to come back and revive me is ridiculous. But they got the gumball system.
Pack-a-punch. Do you remember the little song? Do you remember the little song? Or for Juggernog? Remember Juggernog, the health one? Yeah. Treyarch brought out a little fridge that when you opened it, it would make some of the zombie noises, and there's a Juggernog song that's iconic, man.
Oh, brilliant.
Sorry. You're touching my salvable meal.
We'll get a hold of you, Catching, because the four of us got to play that. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And Taro, if you want I need all the help I can get. Yeah. Saying that with the multiplayer, I've actually come first a couple of times and second 3 times, which is very surprising. So I think they probably have a better system of working out where people's ratings are and how they play and putting them together. I haven't seen a lot of hacky cheating going on.
Just give it time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure if you're there. There's a couple of questionable players in there that I've seen. But yeah.
There was something about cheating today, actually. Where did I see it? There we go, Matt. Black Ops 6 is now targeting disruptive behaviours like AFK players.
There's been a few of those as well, yeah.
Yeah, it says here
Mm-hmm.
they delivered some updates to combat disruptive behavior in multiplayer mode that includes enhanced detective work from players that are AFK. Some have done this to just boost their XP. There should be an automatic thing where you're kicked after a little amount of time because they're putting some things to basically stop you doing this. It's all about ranked play.
Yeah.
And how people were treating that way. Like you've got to win 50 match-made multiplayer matches before you can actually unlock the ranking system, which is fair.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
Interesting. And season 1 goes live. It went live today at 5 p.m. our time, just about 4.5 hours ago. So it's good that they delayed the seasons to give people a chance to actually play the game at the start, and then they bring in their season pass stuff.
I like that.
That's a way that Microsoft make their money.
And is there going to be a new Warzone version as well?
I've got to be, surely.
Must be, right?
They still have your Warzone and your DMZ maps on there. I haven't gone into there for a while.
It's Warzone 2, wasn't it? That was they changed the map the second time last year, but I don't think they do it. Did they do it every year, guys? I think it's like every couple of years or something.
Yeah. It's been a while.
But they tie it in, don't they? They tie in like elements so it all links together from the one central like HQ location or something.
Yeah, I think they brought in 1 or 2 new maps on the DMC side.
But by the way, guys, we're at an hour 50, and I want to make sure I get Cyberbrace in, and then we can go at this rate.
We're an hour 40.
Well, I'm done with that. Yeah,
we're not an hour 50. We're an hour 40.
I know. You do this to me every time. I said, but I'm just saying.
Mr. Gray, honestly.
But anyway, Cyberbrace, which you've seen them or heard about them on our show a bunch. They were going to be going on Kickstarter. Well, now the date's been announced, and they are going to start on Kickstarter on November 15th, which at the time we're doing this is going to be tomorrow. So we're going to show a little spot with the information on it, and then we'll come right back and talk. So hang on.
Is there audio for it, Gray? I don't see it.
Gamers, PC builders, creators, we all know the frustration of GPU sag, that slow drooping that can damage your graphics card and motherboard and ruin the look of your rig.
Gray's got attitude.
Introducing the Cyberbrace, the ultimate solution to keep your graphics card secure and your build looking flawless. But here's where it gets really exciting. The Cyberbrace features an LCD display that functions as a second screen. Plug it into your GPU and it transforms into a live feed of your performance stats, game data, or even your own custom graphics or animations. The Cyberbrace isn't just about function, it's about form too. Made in the UK from high-grade aluminum, it's designed to stand out and keep your GPU firmly in place. You can also customize the Cyberbrace with interchangeable magnetic faceplates for that extra personal touch. Stability, style, a second screen, and no GPU sag. Check it out now and elevate your rig. Launching soon on Kickstarter.com. Just search for Cyberbrace. That's CYBRBRACE to get notified on launch.
There you go.
Yes, I can't wait for this to come out.
Is that the first time you've seen that, Tarl? Or have you seen
first time. That looks really cool.
Do you like it?
Yeah, genuinely.
So now what you have to do is you have to make 2001 parts on your list,
Yeah.
I have to stop that as well, yeah. It's the Kickstarter thing, it's 30% off for a limited time for the really early bird. So if you get in there and get it quick, because it won't be there at early bird prices for long. And then the thing will launch a little while after that. But I'm looking forward to that because I love the concept of, I've got a basic brace at the moment that literally is simple. It's just to prop it up. It does nothing. But actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone and making it into another little display that's practical, that you can run anything on it, including EGP if you really want. You sad people.
You can have us faces helping your droopiness.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Holding up your droopy cards, literally with our hands. It's a good idea. I'm sure it'll do well. Get over there soon, guys, and pick it up because there's not an unlimited number of them, so get in while you can.
Before I forget, we're getting a bunch of comments in on the Black Ops 6 and zombies and whatnot.
Of course.
Frankus says, all of the clips of Black Ops 6 I see are about unlocking Easter eggs. You're telling me it has a story?
No. There is some level of story to it, right? But it's I'm not going to compare it to Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 because that was phenomenal. That was an actual story. Not the same level, but it is Treyarch that are making it, so it's not going to be bad for sure. Can it run Doom? Can it run Doom?
Of course it can.
Don't need to ask them. It probably can, actually. Can you imagine that?
Oh, look, this guy Tarl left a comment too. He said one of the kids at work is a zombie game. Isn't a zombie game that's lasted 3 days? Oh my god! Does he come up for air at all?
Commitment.
He does not. No.
Wow. Dedication, man, right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I love it. It looks really, really fun. I'm going to play that for sure.
Oh, this is funny. Frankus, I'll put this up. Hold on a second. Here you go. He said he was talking about how he likes the data readouts. But funnier though is the next comment. He says, "But it can run Doom."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we just play a video of Doom through it, and it'll.
That's cheating.
No, that's okay.
I'd love to be able to supply that product on my website.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can.
We'll put you in touch. We'll put you in touch, mate, because
put you in touch with the people, and
it's all the scratching backs, I guess. Yep. Great. You keep putting your poor little mod corner to the end. I think you should do that next before the quiz because it's not fair on you, man. It's one of your corners.
I'm not upset. It's cool. I'd rather go to I want to go right to the quiz, to be honest, before we end the show, because Tarl's here and he can chime in if he wants to see if he can answer any questions.
Okay, mate. Okay, you're the boss.
Yeah. So what we'll do since time is running and we've got so much stuff still to cover, but we'll do that next week. So here we go. We do the famous Extreme Gaming Podcast quiz here, Tarl, and don't worry if you can't answer any of the questions. It's okay. First question. One of the original Pac-Man ghosts, Clyde, was replaced by a Miss Pac-Man ghost. What was the name of the Miss Pac-Man ghost that replaced Clyde?
Not a clue.
Anybody know? It's a good question.
I'm going to guess and say Betty, because I have no bloody clue. Betty from Pac-Man.
That's a tough one.
Wrong. Anybody else?
Peggy.
Wrong.
Peggy Sue.
Anyone in the chat?
What was that?
Is anyone in the chat?
They'll Google it though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will.
No, surely not.
Oh,
well, you guys were well. I don't know if I'd say you were close, but the answer was Sue.
I was thinking Peggy Sue. I was thinking Peggy Sue. So
you were close. Yeah. You were close.
A very, very, very small, quick tangent. Pac-Man. You know that arcade thing I'm going to get built, guys? Like I bought it from Arcade 1-Up that's got all the Atari games in it.
Oh, yeah.
I bought another one, but it's a Pac-Man one from Amazon.
Cool.
It's got like 10 Pac-Man games in it and stuff as well, and
awesome.
It's a full-blown one, so I can't wait to build it and show you. Carry on.
All right, next question. This isn't really that hard if you think about it, but it is a cool question. In 2015, the first 6 games were inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Can you name at least one? Again, in 2015, the first 6 games were inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Can you name at least one?
So I didn't even know there was a Video Game Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
there you go. This program has so much knowledge.
I would say Super Mario Brothers has got to be in there.
Ding. Anybody else?
Minecraft.
Tetris.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Tetris is correct.
Doom.
Minecraft.
World of Warcraft.
No, not Minecraft.
Doom.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft's another one. Yep.
Okay.
Doom didn't make it. There's a couple
Doom
of massive games.
You got it.
Oh,
There you go.
did it?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Half-Life didn't make it though.
There's still two. There's still 2 more that we haven't named.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man is in there.
That
That leaves only one.
Yeah.
Astro Boy.
No, but I'll give you a
Astro
clue.
Boy.
It's the game I first played when I played video games when I was a little toddler. Pong. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Pong should have. Yeah.
That's my claim to fame on this program. I'm the only one of us here that's actually played Pong when it came out.
I did too.
Did you? Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I remember I was in the Scouts and someone bought in one of those Atari, what was it, 220s, something or other. And played it there.
So what were you, 3 years old?
I was young. Yeah,
I was going to say, because I was young.
7 or 8.
So not when it came out, but an original piece of hardware years after.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think you're old enough.
What year did it come out?
Oh my
Late
god,
70s, was it
72,
not?
I
Early
think.
80s?
I think it was 72.
72, yeah.
Holy
So that
Yeah,
means
the first
I
computer was in the 50s, wasn't it? So, yeah.
I was 15. I was 14 or 15 years old.
Wow.
It came out.
Whoa.
And I like to tell the story too. When it first came out with Pong, it literally was just knocking the little video ball back and forth, right? And then they came out with the new improved Pong after that, and that you could do English on the ball, where where you slice the ball. So you would take the little light paddle and you twist it really fast when the ball was approaching, and the ball would go off at a different angle. It's like, oh wow, man, new and improved.
The paddles, the paddle controllers.
And then eventually they actually they put in, I think, a doubles match they had where you had 4 paddles going.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I played that
back
version.
then we were like, "Wow, this is so cool, man!"
It's an outrage that Half-Life is not in there. I'm telling you, like Doom. If Doom had made it in, I would have went batshit crazy. I'm glad that went in, but Half-Life not being in there, like it's one of the biggest one of the biggest games, full stop, of all time.
Well, wait, it doesn't mean, wait. It doesn't mean that
Minecraft's not in there either. What?
Wait. It didn't say it wasn't in there. It said in 2015. Which were the first 6 games.
Okay.
So
there's more in there now, probably.
So in other words, they started the video game Hall of Fame in 2015, which isn't that long ago, but it's still 9 years. And so there's been plenty of other games that have gone in. Last question. What classic open-ended PC game of 1993 may have been inspired by a Jules Verne novel whose characters were marooned on an island? What is the name of the game? Not the movie. Or the
Monkey Island?
Monkey Island.
I was thinking that.
It's got to be Monkey Island, mate.
No.
Any other guesses?
Treasure Island.
Monkey Island. Treasure Island. No,
any other guesses?
Day of the Tentacle.
No.
Great game. What a great game.
You will know the game. You will know the game when I say it. The game is.
What kind of game is it? What genre?
No, I can't do that.
All
right.
Okay. So it's a niche genre then.
No. But I can tell
only
you,
one person played it.
Remember, it's an old game. Not 70s, 80s old, but it's an old game.
Which
I can say this, one of the first of its kind. I don't know if that really helps, but
Frankus is saying Myst.
There you go, Myst.
Bingo. Is it? Did you Google it? Yes. Did you Google it, Frankus?
What on, Frank?
Face up. Did you Google it?
Very good, Frankus. Yep, Myst. Yep. All good.
What?
Totally forgot about that game.
What is Myst? I don't know Myst.
It's like a
I played Myst when it came
motion
out.
video game. One of the first full motion video games, right?
When Myst came out, I'm telling you, man, that game was the best. We had so much fun with that. There was nothing like it before when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, literally,
it was wild.
It was probably similar to like a really great RPG today or something.
Frankus says no Google Scouts Honor. That is okay, mate. Okay. We believe you.
And back then, for 1993, the graphics were pretty damn good for Myst. I was shocked. Nobody had seen anything like that. It really looked good. It could even maybe hold up today. I thought that's a game I'm surprised no one has tried to remake it. They remaster and remake so much stuff these days. That would be an interesting one to go back to.
They might do.
You never know. There was a Myst 2 as well, so
there's always remakes on the agenda. Yeah.
Anyway, folks, that brings us to the end of episode 254. We will be back next week for 255. Carl, I hope you had a good time, and you want to plug your company real fast while you can. All right, that's it.
Thanks,
Carl.
guys.
That's all the time you get. No,
that's all right. Thank you. I had a great time. Thanks for inviting me. It was really cool. Honestly, I had an absolute blast. Gamertech.org for the best value PCs in the UK. Thanks.
And hang about then for a moment, because we'll say goodbye to you after we stop going live.
Carl,
Don't completely leave.
Do not close your window because it has to continue to upload. So just
it's a bit cold in here, so I was thinking about it.
Yeah. So just hang in there. When the show's over, we'll come back. All right, everybody. We'll see you again next week. So this is where we go do the outro and everybody dances and sings. Well, kind of, not really. And here we go.
That's all right.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Cheerio. Bye-bye.